But do you have a real job?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. But do you have a real job? We have a great guest for you today, a friend of the podcast, Jeff from Demi the Daredevil. Well, actually, he is Demi the Daredevil, I guess. There's no longer a band; it's just Demi the Daredevil. So, welcome, Jeff, back to the podcast. Yay.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm on the same boat as you. It's just a one-man show. Just do it all.
Right. I found it easier that way, though.
Oh yeah, totally, exactly. It's like the relationship dynamics are complicated, and that sometimes takes more energy than just like getting tasks done. Or
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I saw some shit where Eminem, I don't know if this is true. Akon was saying like Eminem treats music as a 9 to 5 job. Like he'll come in, work, have a lunch break, work till 5, and then go home.
wow,
Like I don't know if that's really the way I would do it, but okay. I guess
that's interesting.
I was wondering this, like I've written so many songs as of late. Like how many songs can someone write before they run out of inspiration to write more songs?
That's a good. I mean, I was listening to some podcasts this week and music related, and it was like reminding me that like our job as an artist, like the first main job should be songwriting, and what people do when they're pros like him, like he's probably not. I don't know how much he thinks about the business, but I'm assuming like they're saying the rule of thumb is like a song a day, or like some people do like 5 a day, and the artist manager is like, hey, you need to like take some breaks, but they're just treating the songwriting as a job, and then they try to make that like one a day. And so that's a good question. I don't know how long they've been going, but I know that there's some older musicians that still do it. And I mean, I think that what people do like after a certain point, or like even from the beginning, is just remix stuff. Like they listen to what is all the old songs from the past, and there's only so many ideas, and then you just take and make it unique. It's always going to come out unique, but you just have to like. I hear that so often with bands, like as they go along in their career, I'm like, oh, they took that riff from this old one, and they changed it a little bit, but nobody knows.
Right. I hear that too. Yeah, like old bands, like Blink 182 isn't that old, but like they're kind of getting old, because they've been around for 30 fucking years. And Tom DeLonge will be like, yeah, I love listening to old 80s records, or whoever, like Pink Floyd, or I don't know who specifically, just anybody back in those days that he would have grown up listening to, and he was trying to imitate that. And then then he's okay, now he's imitating it, now he writes his own thing, so now he's that thing that he was imitating. Now he's no longer the imitation, he is the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah,
it's like if I want to be somebody and I'm trying to be them, but I actually end up being my own thing, but you inspired it, and then I turn into my own thing. And then people like me will look up to Tom DeLonge and be like, holy shit, I like what he's doing, I want to do something like that. And then it just trickles on down, and everybody's doing similar things, but in their own way.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, like each generation has just their previous generations as a jumping off point, but you might not necessarily go way back and start from the beginning. But yeah, it's like you're part of that evolution.
Right. And like a lot of things that I write music about is just everyday shit, and I'm sure it is for you. Everyday shit, you just walk around and you write music about whatever's going on. So I would assume that you could write songs as an artist forever. It's like, I would assume people don't stop painting at some point. People just paint forever. People can just do what they do good forever.
Yeah. I think it's like it's exciting. Like I don't know. Yeah, music saved my life, and just because I feel like I remember some quote by Nietzsche said, "Life without music would be a mistake," and like I kind of feel like that. Like without music, it would be kind of boring. Like there wouldn't. So music has this like it seems like such a huge world, even though there's so many ideas, but it just seems like we can always explore. Like okay, now I want to challenge myself to write a jazz kind of song, or like let's go listen to jazz stuff, or let's go like try to make an 80s like anthem or something, or like let's just try to go with all these different musical pills and then see if you could do that little vibe.
Right. And there's always music for any kind of mood. Like no matter what your
Yeah,
mood
exactly.
is, you can always find songs that are in that mood that you're in and fucking make it work. But which
Exactly.
is kind of weird when you're sad and you listen to emo shit. You would think you would listen to stuff that would make you feel better, but I guess that in essence kind of does make you feel better, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a little release. It's like they're passing their disease on to you. When we write, we just like are venting, or like we get something off our chest, and somehow it's cathartic. to listen to it.
And as an artist, it's like, so it's easy and hard, but you can write songs to be super personal, or you can write them to be relating to other people, or you can do both, which is what I try and do my best of. Like writing where it's super personal, but I sing it in a way where anybody can put it into most situations in their life. Not most situations, but relationship stuff for the most part.
Yeah, that is hard. Like I still don't know how to, like it's hard to make those two things meet where it's like, okay, here, this is what I'm personally going through, and like how can I at the same time try to make it universal or like, in a way that everyone can access.
Right. It's hard,
Hmm.
but it's easy. It's like hard and easy. It's easy to take the personality out of it or the personal parts of it because I don't want to be too specific,
Hmm. Hmm.
But I don't know. I like to be specific in certain things, which is weird because it works out.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because
Except
like
not.
you'll listen to songs. Hang on, you'll listen to like songs, and you'll hear a part like Ocean Avenue. There's a place off Ocean Avenue. Like nobody cares about Ocean Avenue where it's at. They just think about their own Ocean Avenue. Where is their
Yeah,
Ocean Avenue? It might be a fucking park, whatever the hell.
that's
Anyways,
true. I
go on.
know. Do you? Yeah, I was thinking of two things that like in to getting music into film and TV. I hear them a lot of times saying like they won't use songs that have such specific references like that, which is unfortunate. I wish it was applicable, and I feel like still like I don't know. Hopefully there's a way around it, but there was that idea, and then also I was curious like it seems like when like my impression of you when we first met was that you're real you're real, you're authentic. So I'm curious if did you ever go through a phase where you like say in high school and post high school or whenever, did you go through a phase where you had to like try to become more authentic and find that part of yourself, or do you feel like you're just you were always like that? Like did you
Oh
have to go
yeah.
through a place where you're just
Oh
kind of like
yeah.
working out through all the fake stuff and
I
then
was 100% writing fake bullshit. It wasn't like fake necessarily, but it was more along the lines of I know what I like hearing, or I know what lyrics these bands I listen to are using, or whatever, and I try to just copy that basically and not have my thing. I wasn't me, I was a bunch of other people. And it wasn't really up until Purple Hearts where I finally found what I was fucking looking for. I was like, this is me. I had to like say, fuck it. I need to write this shit about real shit and, be myself. I can't try to be like this. I want to sound like Tom DeLonge. I want to sound like Lil Peep. I want to sound like, whoever. I never tried to sound like Lil Peep, to be fair, but Tom, I was definitely trying to rip off for many years. And then I accidentally just started singing like him. And I was like, God damn it. Now I can't get rid of it. But once I was like, fuck all that. I'm just going to do what I want and what I think sounds good. And that's when all the good shit started coming out.
yeah, that's good. That's good. That's a good lesson for everyone to hear.
You just dropped a
Yeah.
new song. What did you write a song about? Or what was your new song about?
That song was about it was kind of like the title of it came like from a subconscious place, like not even thinking too much about it at all. It's just kind of like made sense. Like, okay, I don't know where Paranoia on Main Street came from, but that's where it started. The idea of the song came from the title. And then I was just like working through like, how do I feel around people when I'm walking around at nighttime? And, even nowadays, like if I'm ever like walking and just like, I want to keep to myself, and then I have this like sense that I'm like going to be like obstructed somehow, or like I'm going to get like some kind of resistance or weird stares, or like somebody kind of invading my space or whatever it is, like whatever that feeling is, that's what I was trying to articulate. I'm like, where does that come from? Like, I was trying to be like, I was rewriting the lyrics again and again, and I was like trying to be like, say it as honest as possible. And I guess this is as honest as I could make it, but it was just like, how do I really feel about people? I'm like, I feel like I didn't use all the lines, but I was just like, yeah, people are bored because they don't have any meaning in their lives and they want to distract you from whatever you're doing. And people are hostile. And, like that, I was just writing about like how I really feel about people. So, yeah.
Right. That's really
And
cool
so,
though.
yeah, hopefully I mean, I think like, yeah, try to like make it, into something that can be, like overcome this like
Right.
resentment.
And I think a lot of people don't understand that either about writing lyrics. Like you might write a whole song and then realize half the lyrics wouldn't sound right, or they could sound better or be better. So then you're like, fuck it, I'll just rewrite this line, I'll cut this line, I'll move this line up, which was what I was doing last night. I was writing a new song and I got it done almost. And then I realized like some of this would sound way better if I wrote it differently. And I did. I like cut lines out and moved lines up and down and like rearranged. And now it's way better. And that's what kind of what you were saying you were doing. Like you had the song idea from the song name, which is cool. I don't know if I've had that happen. Maybe I have, but it sounds like something like I would do where you just have a song name and you're like, dude, this would be a good idea for a song. And then you fucking
and then you write based off of that.
And then try and do what you said, articulate that specific feeling is like not easy for anyone. Even if you're a great artist, it's not easy just to say, oh, I know exactly how to articulate that. You know, you got to sit down and really think about it. And that's not easy.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like that's anything that I've made that like I feel like people will cling to more. It's like trying to hammer away at being like trying to say something that's like not easy to say, and that's what makes it valuable.
Right. Now, how do you start writing your lyrics? Like you obviously have the song, or maybe you don't. But let's say, for instance, you have the song done. Do you write line by line, or do you listen and write lines as they come and then fit them into certain parts of the song?
Yeah. And it's kind of like the way you were describing it, where it like I feel like I there's been a few songs where it just kind of spills out, and maybe those are more, you know, you can feel the emotion more easily, like it's like more pure in its essence or something. But most of the songs are just like piecemealing stuff together, and like you know, it's like it's not a pretty, it's like Frankensteining a bunch of things, and like and then it goes back to like the hard part also is like organizing. It's like, okay, how can I like sit? It's like meditative. It's like, how can I sit and like I got to be like present with like things I wrote, and like look at the phone notes, and then like look at this journal that I'm typing, and then look at, you know, it's like how do we mash them all together in a way that's like flowing still.
Right. And that's annoying because once you get certain songs or certain lyrics stuck in your head, it's so hard to change it. Once you've got that melody in your head or that line, I'm like, how do I change it? It's already stuck in my head. I can't change it because that is what it is.
I know. And then you don't know, like that's the hard thing about not having a producer. I guess you have Kevin, but he's more of like a mixer than a producer. Does he like tell you about your lyrics? Like, do you have outside perspectives that are like, no, actually that line's better, or like, no.
Rarely does he ever change my lyrics, but sometimes he'll come in and be like, that word doesn't sound right in that line, maybe change it to this word. And I'm like, oh yeah, that would make sense, let's do that. I said something like in one of my songs, rub against my skin or something, like your body feels like heroin, rub against my skin or something. And he didn't like the word rub and was like, yeah, I just don't like that word, it doesn't sound right, maybe try like up against my skin. So I was like, oh, okay, your body feels like heroin up against my skin. That sounds actually way better.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So It's just minor shit, but like stuff that doesn't really matter, but it's still stuff that, you know, sounds a little better, easier to sing, or makes more sense.
Yeah, right. That kind of flows better. It's like you want to say things in like the smallest amount of words as possible.
Right.
Like,
But yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. But for the most part, I just write all my lyrics and then he does what he does. But yeah, he produces my, I wouldn't say I guess he produces my vocals, but most of the time he does like produces all the music, and then we'll write the music, or I'll either write the music and bring it there, and then he'll actually produce it, you know, make it bigger, make it sound better with his instruments and his equipment. But dude, the best thing I ever found was Kevin. Without my producer, I don't know what I would be doing. Love and War was like the first set. I was like, holy shit, this guy actually knows what the fuck he's doing.
Oh, he did Love and War. Okay. Yeah.
He's done every single one of my songs. And I was like, holy fuck, I'll never go to anybody else. There's no point. You do what I need. You know, I go in there and I know exactly what I'm going to have to do to make him do what I need him to do. I know that I'm not the greatest singer, but I know if I go in there and can do certain things, he can make it work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Totally. And I noticed that on your songs, I was like, did you have you had a studio drummer in some of the songs? You're like, no, he just like, he samples, like he has a lot of old sounds, and like that's also what makes a producer, you know, really useful, is that they have that, like he's got like he can make it sound like a live band, and it was just basically his previous recordings.
Right. I'd
Samples.
almost guarantee nobody knows that all those drums are essentially fake, quote unquote fake. They're not fake, they're real, but nobody would guess that we didn't play them in the actual songs.
Yeah, I'm still like, I was just hearing somebody, like I was watching a webinar back to like TV and film music supervisors, and they were like saying that they all kind of like want organic sounding stuff. Like they want you to record like with a real drummer. I'm like, well, can you just it's really to me, like I'm a drummer, and like it's hard for me to like justify why like I got to go into the studio and play it if you can do it on MIDI and then sample in certain
Right.
instruments. I mean, that's what everyone's doing now. Like I feel like everyone's like just replacing what they recorded in the studio.
Right. I don't get it. And yeah, that's what, Kevin, he tells me like some people will come in and record their drums, and then every single hit that will be on that thing will get replaced with a MIDI thing. So it sounds better, It sounds on time, sounds where it needs to be. Because not every drummer, I would say most drummers aren't perfect. They can't go in there and knock out a perfect set. You're not Travis Barker.
Right. Have you ever recorded with the live drummer, like on one of your songs? Like, do you have someone go in, record the drums?
Not on any Purple Heart songs, no.
Okay. There's, I mean, I haven't done it that much, but the times that I have, it's that same thing where it's like everything just gets like pretty much like I've seen how editing looks with the drummer. Like I've had to do it sometimes myself when it's like every single beat needs to be moved anyway. So it's like, yeah, you just you could quantize it and like put in like 90%, humanize it, 90% or something to make it like seem like not totally perfect, but you're gonna have to like edit it anyway.
Right. I don't get
unless
it.
you're Travis Barker. Yeah, unless you're
like
a
perfect.
Yeah, then I feel like bands at higher levels, then they like that. Like I was talking with Sean, the guy who produced the Magic and Accidents, and he was he says, that the majority of anything he's produced, like a lot of some of my favorite albums that he did produce, he was saying like, oh yeah, that's like none of the bandmates recorded the piano, the bass, the guitar, the drums. We all hired in professional musicians, and then we still had to edit a little bit, but
yeah. We did an album with a guy named Jeff Rockwell down in Fort Worth a few years back. And it's like, I guess, fucking 6 years ago almost. God damn. But we did a 10 song album down there with him, with my old band. And we didn't have a drummer. So he recorded them himself, not MIDI though. He live recorded them. So we spent like a week. I don't know if we spent a week, but we spent, several days in the week at least just recording drums. And I was actually surprised how good he was. Like we had another guy that was interested in coming in and doing drums, and the producer was just like, nah, let me do it. Trust me, it'll be good. And it was fucking good, real good. Like when you have somebody like that, it's not that bad to go in there and record some real drums. But rarely do you find one of those people. And he's like a producer. He's not in a band. He's a producer. He literally does it for a living. Of course he's perfect.
Yes, and that's not uncommon. Like producers just hop on, like Sean, for example. Again, he like for a Hawthorne Heights album, the drummer of Hawthorne Heights, like he recorded them, and then without even telling them, he just redid all the drums himself. Like, cause he's like, this is not. He just knew that it wasn't. He's like, and he just pulled an all nighter and recorded it.
Right. I keep fucking up my camera. I moved my thing forgetting I was recording. I was like, oh shit, didn't mean to do that. But yeah, it's crazy that people will do that, and they'll think, oh yeah, look, listen to me drum on my album. I'm like, dog, that ain't you. That ain't you. You might think it's you, but that's not you drumming on that.
Well, yeah. And that's back to like also like in post production, like how much you can make the drums, for example, sound big. Like how terrible they sounded initially, just the sound alone, not them being on tempo. But yeah, it's like crazy. So
go on.
No, continue. No, I was whatever you're gonna ask.
I was just gonna ask how your new song Paranoia on Main Street was doing with the fans. How you got it? How you promoted it? Anything you're doing new to get it out there with all the COVID shit going on?
There was something new. The guy that wrote the chorus line, he made the chord progression for the chorus, and he submitted. He went on Submit Hub And I remember I tried that before and never found it. It wasn't useful. And then he was saying, oh, well, I've found people that if you put like $100 or $200, then you'll find more success if you just like submit a crap ton. So he did that. He did one round, and then actually the song ended up on Submit Hub's top 25, whatever that means. Maybe I don't even know. I think that's just like the acceptance rate of all the channels that you're submitting to is higher than the norm. So it did really well there, and I don't know when they're going to add it, but it looks like he was working that, so that's great.
So before you go on, what is Submit Hub? I've never heard of it.
Submit Hub is like I think it's like why they're useful is they organize all the channels onto one channel, so you don't have to go like looking everywhere.
Like
you can
YouTube?
use. Yeah, you just go to submithub.com, and then you can use filters and be like, okay, I want to find channels that have Spotify playlists, that have blogs and are alternative, and then you set that filter, and then a bunch pop up.
What do you mean channels though?
Like I guess people who have playlists, or people who have YouTube channels, or people who have blogs, or
okay.
whatever
so you can
outlets.
filter out like I want YouTube video people, I want Spotify playlist people, and those people, and then you'll filter out and give you all their info.
Well, yeah, exactly.
All different people's info.
All different people, and then you submit it, and it costs like $1 or something, or $2 per submission, and you can just like send a bunch out. So yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So
so what happens? You send out $1 and you submit it, and then they'll put you on their YouTube channel, or maybe their playlist, or talk about you on their blog.
Yeah, if they like, I've tried it in the past, and they just say no, sorry, no. Just it was all rejection. I don't think I've ever gotten anything on Submit Hub, and then for some reason this song, or with this guy who's just lucky, or he did something different, but yeah, he got a bunch of people just saying, yeah, we'll feature you. I was actually one of them was Digital Tour Bus. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yeah, I know.
So one of them was there, and they're like, we'll feature you in a blog. And then I was looking at all the topics that they recommended, and one of them was tour pranks. And I'm gonna use one when we went. I'm gonna use like it was not a prank, but I kind of honestly I'm gonna sell it as like you doing it intentionally. But you were driving the bus and the AC was out, and I like it was like, you know, in Atlanta it was hot as hell, and we had the fan going on in the back, and that was all we had. And then I looked at Mark.
Switched.
Oh no!
And then we switched, and then I just opened the window.
Well, I looked over when you were driving at one moment, and I looked at Mark and what was the other guy's name? I forgot, your guitarist. Yeah, Dan. So I was looking at both of them, and they were sleeping, but it looked like they weren't sleeping. Like it looked like they were anesthetized, like they were just like totally zonked out from the heat, and they're just like, oh. Like, so I don't know. I'm just gonna say something like you turn off the AC, and they were just like they passed out from heat exhaustion.
It was hot.
Yeah, that was a hot time. That was a fun tour. But yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, about the promotion. There was Submit Hub. There's TikTok. Like I did a little bit of ads on TikTok, which is like really good. Like a lot of clicks from that. But I don't know, you know, to Spotify. Who knows, you know, how many are really translated, because you can get people who click and just like exit out before they land on the page. But so there's that, and there's like a little bit Instagram ads. YouTube is hard to get going. Like I always have, like if I'm ever trying to run an ad, it like, you know, it stays there like for a couple weeks before anything picks up. But yeah, that's it. And there were the fans, I think they were liking it, and I'm always kind of like, you know, the people who care, I really appreciate them. And they're also like, part of me feels like, it's really hard to get people to care, or like it's hard to get people to be loyal to it. And like, I don't know what that is exactly. Like I still have not cracked that, like what makes, you know, people, you know, be more like engaging, like on YouTube, like, hey, go like and comment on the YouTube video, and like, why are like only a small percentage of people actually doing that? But maybe that's in my head. Maybe I'm just thinking like, oh, I'm not being supported, but you know, I'm trying to just focus on the people who really do care about it.
Right. Yeah. I always try and think about it. Like we were kind of talking about it the other day, just like think about what I'm doing and what kind of channels I support. Cause I support a lot of channels, not support, but I like a lot of channels on YouTube. I love a lot of videos, and I love the creators of these videos, and I watch them every day. I try and like their videos if possible. But I don't like every video, you know. I don't even comment on most of them. Like 99% of them, I don't even leave a comment, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck
yeah,
it.
Same.
Well, sometimes I do, and I've tried to leave more comments than normal, so I'm just kind of around in the internet bubble somewhere, like here and
Mm-hmm.
here. I'm everywhere, but I try not to get too discouraged with people not commenting, mostly because I know what I'm doing, what I'm not doing. And if I know I support these people, but I'm not actively, supporting them, that's what I would assume some of these people are doing. Maybe they really
Totally.
support me, but I'm not in their feed that day, or maybe they, had a friend call in the middle of watching a video and they forgot to come back to it, or, anything.
That's
So,
very true.
so I've
Yeah, yeah.
learned that being in the feed and being in the recommendations and being everywhere all the time is the only thing you can do to get more people on your shit. Because if
Like,
you don't release a song, for months, you're gonna have months and months of content just go right on by you, and nobody's gonna see your shit. Nobody knows about it because they don't even see it. People upload shit so much. You need to be uploading that much, not you,
I
but
see.
people.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
you have to just keep fucking pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing until a lot of people see it. And then it's
Yeah.
to the point where, because at first it's with like us, we're like kind of smaller. So it's the point where we're trying to get people to really give a fuck, because nobody gives a fuck until everybody gives a fuck. And then it's a different world.
I know. I thought about that. No, I just thought about that today. I'm like, it's really that seems to be a hard thing to get, everybody to think it's great.
Right. Did you do anything new for for that release that you just did because of COVID? Have you changed anything up in your, in the way you do things for Demi?
No, because I was just like you, it's just like more digital. It was always digital. Or like I tried doing the live thing and like came back from that tour and from other shows and being like, okay, like it needs like we have to like get people to hear about this before we go play at a bar in Indianapolis, or like we
Right.
have to make sure that people hear about it beforehand. um it just seems like that's what we're up against. Not before, it was like the old way of thinking was just like, yeah, well, you got to, like, most of these people, they have to pay their dues in touring for 10 years maybe, and then like
Hmm.
now it's like there's people who never played a show in their life and they're already selling out around, because they just so
Right.
I didn't do anything. I don't think I did anything different. It was all it's all like the same things that I usually do, but I'm trying to get better about like planning ahead. And then now I look back, I'm like, okay, well, I can see, yeah, I just wasn't prepared in this way and this way and this way,
Hmm.
but I tried my best. Like we're one man show, and so there's just like way too much there's so
Right.
much too much to juggle for, like there's like 20 people or 40 or 50 people at a label who are just
Hmm.
like juggling all these things, and it's us. It's like, okay, then we got to pick and choose pick and choose the battles.
Right. It's terrible. And being a one man band, you got to pay for all of it. And that's the hardest part, because I don't have
Yeah.
an unlimited amount of money. I was reading this article the other day about Young Money, or I don't know what his name was. Fucking the guy above Lil Wayne. Like there's people above them. And they were like, yeah, we would just give Lil Wayne, Drake, Nicki Minaj unlimited money. Didn't matter, because it was trying to build that brand. We're like, we don't give a fuck. If we lose money, we'll take that L and move on, because we're trying to build this brand up. And we don't have that. We don't even have close to that. We don't have a fucking pinch of that. And we're out
Mhm.
here fucking grinding every day. And I think it builds such a strong relationship with us and the fans that it will be hard to lose them, if that makes sense. I don't know
Okay.
if they'll technically stick around forever, sure, but like the longer that we're doing this and the more we're doing it and they grow with us, they'll just stick around. Like Blink fans, I'm not a fan of Blink anymore. I still listen to their music. I might not go to their shows, but I'm still supporting, And I
Yeah.
think that's what we're gonna have. Maybe.
Right. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I totally agree. It's like if they, especially people, like you have like a 15-year-old and like they discover one of your your songs or EPs or albums, and then that's always going to like stick out to them because of that moment in time. It was so important. And so
Right.
it'll always be important to them. And then, like you're saying, they see you grow and they see you still, like that's what like a brand, like part of growing a brand is like showing up consistently with your mission every single day. Like, I'm here to help people work through their anxiety. I'm here to help people work through their mental health, or like whatever it may be. That's kind of our, what we talk about. So, yeah,
Right.
I
And
agree.
Brendan Urie had a great thing about that too, about showing up and being there, being consistent, doing that every single day. You are who you fucking say you are. Like I walk around as Purple Hearts. I don't walk around like Mario anymore. I'm a fucking dude that's trying to make it as a musician. People are like, oh, what are you doing today? Working on music. What the fuck you think I'm doing? Every day, that's what I'm doing. All day, that's what I'm doing. Even when I'm working, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And people don't get it. I'm like, man, you got to live it. But I think that's one thing that's really good about being on our level, doing it this way, is because it's not like we had a label throw $1 million down and now somebody listened to my song and they like the song. It's like these people are relating to us more than they're relating to the music. I have fans that have sometimes even said, oh, I've never even listened to your music. I'm like, what? Like they'll come on my live streams and interact on my posts, but they'll never listen to the music. I'm like, what the fuck? That don't make any sense. But
I know.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. Like I feel like there's like a fine line between you got an influencer and you got a musician, and you have like people like Crank Frank and Crank the Frank and Jesse Page. They start off as influencers and it was just people buying into who they were, and then they made music. And with us, like we start with the music, but we also have to like, okay, well, we also have to play that influencer role where it's like your personality.
And with those people, they like the fans might relate to the music, they might not. I mean, I don't listen to Crank That Frank. I don't know if he's any good, but in my experience, anytime an influencer or YouTuber or a Disney Channel star tries to make music, it's usually god awful. And it's not even to be mean, that's just the facts. It is what it is. Listen to every Disney Channel star that ever did it, or YouTube or anything, and they did music, 9 out of 10 times it sucked really bad. And I don't know about their music. They seem like they've got it a little more together, you know, but I don't know if they do, but I've never listened to their music. But even then, the people can relate to them. They don't care about the music. They only care about them. They'll listen to the music. Like, oh yeah, it's good music, fun, but I like you more than I like this music.
Yeah.
It's crazy, which is a good thing. Like, it's a good thing and a bad thing because your personality becomes your brand.
Yeah, it's true.
It's good and bad. Good because you can be yourself and people can relate to you. Bad because, well, my personality isn't all that great. It's pretty off-putting to a lot of people, and people are just like, ooh, I don't like that guy, so I'm not going to listen to his music or his brand because he is that, and I'm not going to listen to that shit.
I know. Yeah, so that's hard. I lean more towards like, I just want you here for the craft, and I would rather just like, you know me through that. But then like, you know, like I heard Ed Sheeran say something like, well, the number one thing, he hears people with just as good of music, but they sell like a quarter of the amount of records because they're not likable. And so he's like, you got to be likable. And so it's like, that's the personality part.
Right. And what's crazy is like, some people try way too hard to be liked, and that makes them even more unlikable.
Yeah.
I'm like,
how does one pretend to be liked, or like how is it political? I know the people,
it's
like you could say
definitely
like
political, and it's, you know, social justice issues, and you know, anything that's hot topics that you can maybe get some feedback on that's positive. So
okay.
or okay, so I used to follow this YouTuber Boogie, and I used to like him back when he made funny videos. Now he's just a fucking dumbass SAW that goes on Twitter and he has a real opinion. He'll say something, have a real opinion, and then somebody will say something like, yo, fuck you, you know, or, you know, like this opinion's wrong because of this and this and this. And then he'll go back and make another tweet like, I'm sorry to those people I offended. I just think that this and this and this and this. And it's just like, dude, don't apologize. Just be yourself. If they don't like it, fuck them. You know, that's what I look at it.
Okay.
But when these people are like trying so hard to be liked by everybody, they will just say anything so anybody will like them. I hate those people.
Yeah, it's like politicians. It's just
right. They'll literally say anything at that point so that that person will like them. And I hate those people. Either be yourself or just get away from me.
Yeah. No, that's back to the authenticity. I totally agree. Like that's gonna win in the end.
Right.
Like you can't please everyone. Like you know that I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll work for a good amount of time. I don't know how long, but yeah.
Right. And I'm not here to please everybody. I don't care if everybody likes me. I don't care if anybody likes me. I'm just fucking out here doing my thing. I mean, shit. You think Alliance is around thinking about if people like him? The fuck? No. He's got food to eat. He's got a woman to hunt for. He's got a baby to hunt for. He ain't got to worry about it. Fucking Billy Joe next door doesn't like him. The hell? But people are so worried about that, and I hate it. And I hate when people draw it into their music. I hate it.
Yeah.
Like they'll write songs where it's like super political one way or the other. I'm like, I hate you. Like if you're doing a political song, I like to be in the middle. like, hey, we're all in this together, not the government. I have no opinion on this or opinion on that, but we are all in this together one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
some people, like Taylor Swift, has recently went full on political. Every musician now, because of Trump, everybody that is a musician or in Hollywood or an actor has officially joined the anti-Trump train. And they're all over Twitter and Instagram and Facebook saying, fuck Trump and fuck this. It's like, I wouldn't even call that virtue signaling. I would call that like, just, I don't even know what I would call that, bandwagoning, just
Yeah.
joining a trend. And it's crazy to think that the most woke people are woke by the same people they hate. I hate Hollywood and I hate celebrities and I hate corporations, yet I share the same opinion as every single one of them.
Oh yeah. That's,
It's like
know.
tribalism.
Yeah, I don't.
I hate tribalism anyway, but I hate what we're doing right now. You know what I mean? Like tribes just like kind of get together and then they hate each other. Not each other in the tribe, but they hate other tribes. Like, oh, you're a part of that tribe. Fuck you. Fuck your tribe. Come over here. We'll kill you.
No. Yeah, right. Totally.
It's terrible for society and people, and I don't like it.
Yeah. It's an easy route. Pandering.
Yeah, pandering. That's really what it is. Straight pandering. I hate panders. Whatever the fuck. I hate them. I just want to be a fucking person and just live life the best way I can. And that's it. And write music. And I'm thankful that I don't write super political music anyway. I mean, I've written like one song that was political, but it was called We Are the Angry, not fuck Democrats or fuck Republicans. It was just like, we're mad and we're all in this together. Fuck everybody. But I try to keep politics out of my music and off of my Instagram. But as of late, the election and this whole COVID and Trump and Biden have caused a ruckus online. So I've been sharing my opinion a little more than I need. But I'm actually surprised that not as many people hate on you as like I would think, because I'm pretty much in the middle. I'm not even in the middle. I'm on the outside. I'm not even in this group anymore. I'm like out here. Like all this shit's going on in here and I'm out here. I'm out here watching. It's a fun time out here.
Yeah, I definitely feel.
All right, guys, sorry about that. We had a technical difficulty. My computer went to sleep and thus kicked me off the recording. So now we're back. I forgot what we were talking about. Exactly. Something about politics. And I'm on the outside, but I really am on the outside. I try not to keep, I try to keep my politics and my music on two separate things, and I stay on the outside. I don't like to be involved in all the active hate and shit. I don't like it.
Yeah, there's got to be. I'm somewhere. I'm not. It's not about like being a fence sitter, but like I do consider myself the GDI, like a goddamn independent. And there's a way there. I could see both sides, and I feel like there's solutions somewhere in the middle, where you don't have to go so extreme. It just seems wrong to go extremes on either side.
Right. That's why they have like certain talking points on both sides. Like the left will use the race arguments or the sex arguments, and then the right will use America arguments or economic arguments, or the left will use like climate change, and the right will use God and shit like that. And it's just like, oh, I believe in God. I vote Republican. I'm like, oh, so you're stupid. It's what you're telling me.
Yeah, right. It's not that simple. And they gotta like realize that these politicians that you're so like gun ho super fan about, like they don't. I feel like it's kind of patronizing in a way. Like they kind of like see us as like they work with corporations. They have insider trade information. There's you just go down the list of ways that they're kind of like contributing to oppressing the lower middle class. Like they're kind of like they're going to make laws that make the rich richer, and they're part of that. So like just acknowledge that they're not on your side necessarily.
Right. You think they care about if you're black or white or brown? Hell no. They want that money. All money's green to them. They don't care which hand it's coming from, which pocket it's coming out of, whose bank it's getting jacked out of.
Yeah, like there's people that have sat in on like Senate, like where they make the judicial decisions, and they just carry it on for years and years because they all have jobs. There's
Right.
no rush, there's no urgency
Yeah.
necessarily. Not
And they
all of
don't
them.
want to. They don't want to get anything done. That's the point. Nothing ever
Yeah.
gets done, and people are voting. People are voting, and I'm like, we've been voting for 200 fucking years, and this is where it's gotten us. I'm like, it's not really doing that good, is it? That's why I don't vote. I never have, never will. Although I'll say this, I did vote for medical marijuana because I'm a pothead, but we got screwed out of it in one thing where they counted all the ballots and then they, you know, disqualified several of them because of errors, whatever that means. So there was like less than 100 votes needed to get it passed, and they didn't pass. So it came back, and I was like, I swear to God, if this don't pass this time, I'm gonna be pissed. So I'm voting. So I voted, and everybody else voted, I think, and it passed.
Okay.
So now we got medical marijuana coming in. I think in a couple of weeks, the first dispensary opens up around here,
Hmm.
which is pretty cool. We're on the way, but that's one thing I hate. None of these politicians are legalizing marijuana. Joe Biden's not. He says he is. I doubt it. He's been spending fucking 30 years locking people up for it, and Kamala Harris has too. It'd be kind of backwards for them to be like, okay, I know we did this, but now we're gonna make it legal. Like, okay, so do all the people that went to jail get out? No,
Oh yeah.
because we got to make money off of them. She literally said she didn't want to let all the people out for nonviolent crimes in California because of COVID, because of the California wildfires, and that it would increase, labor costs if we had to pay people and not let the prisoners do it.
Yeah, no, right? Yeah, it's a it's like a modern day slavery, the prison system. They just work them. Like I just read an article on Forbes about that. They're just like, there's people that are just like, they work us like dogs. Like it's just like,
It's
it's
legal
just
too. It's constitutional, actually. It's 100% constitutional because you're free unless you're a slave or in prison, and then you're essentially a slave. Because they don't mention slavery, but if you are if you're in prison, essentially you're a slave. No, that's awesome, and you have no right to anything. No,
yeah.
that's great, but you can fight California wildfires and maybe get out earlier. It's so crazy that the only reason they were going to keep them in prison, in a fucking locked cell, because they could fight wildfires for cheaper than it would cost if they had to pay real people.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like with everything, it's the same. Like I throw politics and government along with corporations, where it's like it's very hard to make change when everything revolves around money, and when nobody
Right.
who's gonna like what kind of there are people out there, thankfully, that really are
Mm-hmm.
ethically driven. But yeah,
And if you think like, if you think all these people don't already understand everything that is wrong, you're delusional. Like all these corporations and politicians, they already know the problems. They don't want to get rid of them. It makes their job even better because now they have to be there to fix it, right? They're going to fix it. So you have to vote for me and pay me $100 million. It's like, God damn. And they can do insider trading. We can't do that. If we do it, we go to federal prison. If they do it, they get a pat on the back and a big fat paycheck. Oh, it's great. But
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
voting
We're
blue.
oppressed.
I'm
Yeah,
voting
I
blue,
know.
man.
Yeah, I
Gotta
do
fuck
not
the
get that.
system.
Like I can see how people would vote for either side with they're like, oh, I believe in this particular thing, so I'll vote to this side. But to
Mm-hmm.
be just like gun ho, like super fans of like 1,000 Trump signs in their yard,
Right.
like there's a lot of people like that in Texas and both sides. But yeah, it's like
Yeah, and Missouri too.
crazy to
But
me.
yeah, I'm like, you spent your money on that? You fucking loser. Who buys that shit? I don't understand it. And it's like they have made their mind up before the candidate has even been announced. That's probably the whole reason they've ran Joe Biden. They're like, oh, they'll vote blue no matter who?
Yeah,
Idiots. We'll give them Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. We'll see if they vote for these people. They're voting for them? That's literally what these people are doing behind closed scenes. They're laughing. They're literally like, those people are so stupid. They're voting for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. That's how dumb they are. Isn't it crazy that they have Hollywood, social media, the mainstream media, schools, literally everything, and they cannot beat Trump?
yeah, that is, yeah. I know. I was wondering about that too. The way he was talking about, well, nobody's showing. I don't know. I guess you must know about the stats with that more. But in their debate, Trump was saying nobody was showing up to Biden's rallies, and that Trump doesn't have any problems with it, and then it makes me associate this with like kind of like bands and like certain people and football or like whatever it is. Certain people are in demand and certain people are not, and it's just like
Right. People want to see Trump. They don't want to see Joe Biden. There's nothing for him to say. He can't even talk. The dude can't even make it through a sentence. They want to see Trump. They show up in fucking thousands of numbers to see him. But yeah, it's crazy. But they're gonna act like Joe Biden's ahead in the polls. I'm like, yeah, right. With who? I don't know who, but somebody.
see what happens. It's a
Yeah,
weird time.
we don't have that much time left either. It's we got about, what is today? The 11th. Less than 30 days. We got 20 days,
Yeah, it's coming
and
fast.
and people are gonna go vote. Not me, but some people. So, what are your plans for the rest of the year? You got a bunch of songs.
That is a good question. I try to follow your lead on you. You're a pretty good planner. I'm like a terrible planner. I'm looking. I have my calendar stapled up here. Yeah, I don't. I guess this release was like all consuming. Now we have November and December. I think I'm going to be planning like more releases in January and then in February. And then try to do. It's the same thing. It's always like create, connect with the fans, started to network more, and then sync licensing, like trying to see like what is that realm where people can make, you can sell sample packs, like 20-second clips of just like one idea, and then you make a bunch of different moods, and then you sell that, and then people use that in ads. And it's just like I'm just hearing more and more about, like, I feel like that's the way of underground musicians. They're starting to like be like, well, you can that's one way to do it without a label, which you get stuff on ads, or you do whatever, and then you get exposure. People, maybe if they use your original song, you get exposure, and you're helping fund your career. And so and it's like with working with corporations, like it's back to like musicians like putting audio to visual, and they have their brands that like make trillions of dollars, and like, can you participate in that? That would be great.
Right. Yeah. It sounds like you got a lot going on, at least, but not a lot of songs. You not have any songs right now that are done, ready to release?
No, not they're I mean, nah, not really done, but like I have a good amount of not a good amount, but I have like, some demos in the bag, and yeah,
I
so
feel
yeah.
that. And what we were
It's
saying, yeah, about like doing those sample packs, technology has worked out in a great way for musicians. You can, if you really love music that much, you can make money only doing music, like doing these sample packs or covering songs on
covers, yeah,
Twitch, or going to,
reimagine covers, yeah, like
right. You
that's
can do so much outside of your own music to make money with just music. I mean, it's crazy
yeah.
what you can do now.
I know, right? Like it's hard still, but it's like yeah, you're right. Like we have the tools. So yeah, do you really how do we make money? Like I think we're just at an age where it's like, not our age, but like just getting older and being like, I mean, we talked about it last time. Like it's hard to like, I don't think that maybe younger fans are not as aware. Like we all have different problems, and when you're younger, your problem more so is like the test you're worrying about. You're worried about getting into college. You're worried about failing a high school exam, or you're worried about like, social anxiety and stuff like that. And then as you get older, it's like, well, the kind of like the main anxiety for me is money. It's just like, how do you like survive? So yeah, that's a good avenue.
Yeah.
What about you? What's the plans for the rest of the year?
Shit, drop. I'm about to go on an unleashing spree of music. I'm
Really?
about to just drop. My first song drops in like 5 days, and then
Oh,
I've got so many songs. I've got a 12-song album done, essentially. I'm about to finalize it all in a week, next week or something. I'll go and actually finalize all the tracks, make sure they're done, ready to go. And then I got 12 songs on one album that I'm gonna break up into different EPs, like 4 different EPs with 3 songs each.
you have that done?
Yeah, it's on my computer, ready to go right now.
That's great.
I'm gonna
Dude, that's
actually, I'll send it to you. It's I have it in a Google Drive link with all
yeah.
the songs. They're not all done. A few of them, probably 5 or so, are done, ready to release, but the rest aren't completely done. So I'll send those to you. But then I got, videos. I'm shooting another video in a week. I've already got 4 videos done. I'm just waiting to get the edits back, which is fucking crazy. I've never been this prepared, and I'm working on more video ideas. So I think by the end of the year, I'm gonna have a lot of shit. Pretty much, I'm gonna keep releasing shit till the end of the year, and then when the new year starts, I'm gonna keep releasing shit till the end of that year.
Dang. That's crazy. Okay, so do you have any advice on like how we should balance like reflecting on what worked or what didn't work and reflecting on your week and all that stuff and then like using that to plan ahead? Like how do you like it seems like it's to me it seems like that is extremely hard because that's what separates us from animals where we are able to plan and it's for
Mhm.
I'm seeing how bad I am at it. I'm like, okay, well this is what separates you from an animal. So do you feel like are there any tricks or like how do you is it a discipline thing? Do you have to like sit down and be like, okay, I'm not gonna like go on my phone and I'm not gonna do anything and I have to just sit and think and then you have to work on your why, like, oh well if you doubt that this is gonna even work, then you have to like before you plan, you have to like figure out why you're not planning or like why you're procrastinating.
Right? Yeah, I don't know. I just sat down and thought, okay, this year before this year, like 2019, the end of it, I dropped an EP, and I thought, okay, in 2020, I want to release more music than I've ever released ever, and I just want to crank it out because I want a bunch of
Okay.
content. And then I started writing to these beats that I found on YouTube, and I was like, oh, these beats are actually really fucking cool. It'd be really cool if I did more with these. And then I kept writing and kept writing and kept writing. And then after I found this one guy and I heard these few different songs, I was like, dude, it would be so fucking cool if I put these 3 songs on an EP. And then I was thinking, well, fuck, it would be really cool. I came up with like what you said earlier. You came up with the name, your song name, and then you came up with the ideas.
Yep.
I came up with the album named Vibes, and I was just like, it'd be cool as fuck to just have a bunch of songs that just vibe out on one album, and it doesn't have to be about like one thing. Like Machine Gun Kelly, you listen to it, that new album, it's all punk rock or all pop punk, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's all that one sound, and all the way through. That's how most albums are. I was like, I don't really want to stick to one sound. I want to do a lot of different sounds, but also where they're all vibing and their own thing. And I was like, okay, what if I put out these songs on this EP and then like broke all the similar songs up into the EPs, and then at the very end just dropped them all on the one album.
Oh, I see. That's a great idea. Yeah, yeah.
So I'll release like 1, 2, and 3, like the songs 1, 2, and 3 on one EP, and then 4, 5, 6 would go on an EP, and the 7, 8, 9 will go on an EP, and then 10, 11, 12 will go on an EP. All different EPs, and then at the end they will all go on one album called Vibes, and then it'll vibe. It's like starts out super pop, like bedroom pop at the beginning. It's all happy and fun, and then at the end it's like pure piano and vocals, and that's it. And it's a crazy vibe going from there to there, and it goes there so perfectly.
That's awesome. I feel like that takes a lot of back to planning, or it's like you have to have the vision and conception beforehand, or like you're like it's like hard to get that clarity of the vision. It's hard to get clarity of vision. So it's like you saw like, okay, I have 3 that can go together, then I have 3 that can go together, and I have 3, and then
Right.
you put it all together.
That's how it all started working out. Yeah, I had like 5 or 6 or some songs I was working on, not recording, just working on. I was like, okay, it would be cool if like, because I had like 3 songs that definitely went together on one EP, and then I had like 2 that went together, but not 3, and then I had like a couple that were random. And I was like, yeah, I might want to go and find like different songs that sound like this, and then put those on an EP. And then yeah, I was like, it was kind of planning, but also just kind of going with it and seeing what happened. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. It might, might be anything, but I fucking just kept writing and kept recording music. And after a while, I was like, holy fuck, I got like 15 songs I can choose from to put on this album right now. And then I just started going through and picked all the best ones I liked. And then now I got the whole thing ready to go. And I'm fucking stoked. I've never been this prepared for anything. And what's annoying is because I dropped my last song, probably in the summer, early summer, like June. And that wasn't even like, I don't promote all my music the same because some of the music I don't care about as much. And some of the music I really give a fuck about. And this new music I really give a fuck about. So I was just kind of releasing stuff,
Good.
up until I said, fuck it, I'm not releasing anything until all this is done. Because I had that other song and all that stuff done like March or April or whatever. And then I stopped releasing shit after June and just said, I'm not going to release anything new until all this stuff is ready. And now I'm finally ready to start dropping shit. I just didn't want to start dropping shit until I had a consistent stream of shit to drop.
Yeah, right.
Like you're in the position I do not want to be in. I've been there countless times where I'm like, okay, I just dropped this badass fucking song and a badass video. Now what? You know, I hate that situation.
I know. Well, it takes. I guess I'm going back and forth between like, do you be one of those artists that's like they have like they blow up and they have like 4-song releases and they put in so much money, like thousands and thousands of dollars into as an indie artist into those specific songs that they believe and it works, that they know they're gonna pop, or do you like crank out a bunch and then like by doing that, like the more time we give to creativity, then the less time we're going to have to make money to market it. And like so I don't know how much money you have stowed away from marketing, but it's like both ways seem like they make sense to me. Like we both talked about different scenarios where you have to just listen to whatever's going to make the most sense for you, but it's like that's you got to choose the route. I feel like that's a good route. I'm kind of leaning towards that. It's like just focus on the music and then the business stuff is going to drop. Like some of it has to, unless you're just like Superman. There's no way.
Well, one good thing I have is I lease all these beats off YouTube for like $30, and I just lease out the wave. I don't even get the stems. I just release the wave because usually I like the song enough. I'm like, I'll just use it as is. I don't give a fuck. I won't get the MP3. I don't want that compressed ass shit in my fucking song. But
yeah,
so I buy the wave file, so it's a little better. And I don't ever use the free version because it's just, you know, not that good. But actually, the new song I'm dropping this week was free for profit. So I just had a free download link, and it was like, really? Fuck yeah, I'll use this. And then I wrote a song. I was like, holy shit, this is a badass song. I'm gonna release this in like 2 weeks.
That's crazy, dude. See, that kind of like that worries me a little bit too. For some reason, like the when people are giving their music out for free like that, because I'm like, well, is that gonna be the norm? Like, are we gonna be like making music and it's gonna be like 99-cent download for this like great piece? You know, it's like, is that like, that's crazy.
It's all promo. Yeah, like this guy is like,
oh, it's pro. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Like he needs promotion during that time. Yeah,
he's trying to get his page bigger, so he puts like free for profit or whatever, so people will come to it, listen to it, and then maybe come back later and buy a fucking beat or a lease or share it with his friends. And then, you know, you just build up your page, because there's a lot of YouTube producers out there that just produce beats and post them on YouTube, and then people buy them, and that's all they do.
That's back to like what we were talking about like yesterday. We were talking, or a couple of days ago, about like Kanye, or like whenever you have a bigger name, then that's when you can charge for your beats or you charge for your streams more. So it's like, it's the name and it's the everybody knowing about you. It's the brand.
And I found a couple producers that really want to work with me just fucking because they like my music. And I'm like, really? I fucking love your music too. Let's do some shit. And then it's like, okay, now I don't even have to pay for your shit, and you're gonna write exclusive shit for me, which is better for me.
Yeah,
I don't have to sit down and write an idea. I don't have to come up with a song. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to record the song. I don't have to pay for the song. I just have the beat. I write my lyrics, and it takes me about an hour to record my vocals, and then that's a song.
Dude, yeah. Well, that sounds great. That sounds more like in the like you're pivoting to the rap realm. Like I imagine that like you said, you wanted to step up your lyrical game. Like this is going to give you that freedom to like like Eminem, like he's known for his lyrics being so amazing, and like he's able to like really give a lot of time to that.
Right.
So that's cool.
Yeah. I don't know what the plan is, but all I do know is that is what I'm doing. I do want to put out a full band record again at some point in the next year or two, but I want to take the time to do it right. I'm like pretty much going to rent my producer for a month and say, let's sit down and write a fucking record. Like,
yeah. Well, I think I feel like if you got 12 songs in the bag ready to release, then chances are you'll have one song that can pop off like a little bit more. Like
I really hope.
Like I'm looking at my songs, is like everything that I've ever released. There's two that like do a little bit that do that. You know, anything on Spotify that's made, it's like 90% comes from one song, and then the rest is like 5%. You know, so it's like if you can find that, we just got to keep finding. I think that's a good tactic that you have, like just you know,
I'm just gonna, keep dropping
probability.
Shit.
Yeah, probability.
Yeah, the more songs you drop, the more likely it is that somebody's gonna love it and keep sharing it. So
yeah.
I'm just gonna rock it out and see what the fuck happens. I'll send you that record though, or that album when we get off here, and you can check
Do
it out
it.
if you want.
I don't think I've heard one song from it yet. You haven't.
I think
You
you've
used to
heard a
send me
couple.
some more stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've been more down low on this shit. Just waiting for the right time to start dropping. I hint in my stories here and there, but
you've known that I could just leak your music, so you're just
yeah,
a little
I'm
more
like,
protected this time.
I know Jeff is probably gonna post it, so I don't really want to show him or anything.
Yo.
But all right, I guess we're gonna wrap this up. Sorry again, people, for the break that was in the middle of that somewhere. I don't know where it was, but be sure to check out Jeff's brand new song, Paranoia on Main Street. It's fucking awesome. That music video, by the way, was badass.
Yeah, that was okay. Real quick, that was an example of like a real quick, like very cheap, and it yeah, it was one of those probability things where it's like I feel like we could technically, we could release a lot of songs if we're just I don't know what I'm trying to say. Just you don't have I didn't put a lot of thought into it at all.
Right. Which is good. I saw it and I was like, I could tell this is a cheap ass video, but it doesn't look cheap. It looks like an expensive video. Like if some Joe Schmo motherfucker saw that, he'd be like, damn, that video is badass. It is badass. But
cool.
I could tell because I've done cheap videos like that where I'm just like, yo, let's just walk down the street and do fun shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like I'll Be Just Fine was a one take video. And it's just like, that's a cool video. Literally one take all the way until like the very end.
Exactly. You could frame it like Birdman or like those one takes and be like, we intentionally did it this way. And it's like, really, it was like the decision was made off of time constraints and budget.
Right. I'm like, I got non-existent. $20. So how do we get a video?
Right.
How about we just walk down the street once and sing it? I'm like, all right.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks again for coming on. Everybody, you need to go follow
Great
Jeff.
talking.
Actually, probably everybody on here knows who you are. But if you're not familiar with Jeff, go follow him at Demi The Daredevil on Instagram, Demi The Daredevil on YouTube, Demi The Daredevil everywhere, I'm pretty sure.
Go follow Purple Hearts. That's cutting off. Go follow Purple Hearts podcast too and his music. Stay tuned.
Yeah, hell yeah. So stay tuned for Jeff's new shit. I got a bunch of new shit coming out, by the way. So
I'm looking forward to it.
New podcast coming out soon. Thanks again for joining, man. And I hope everybody listening has a great night. Thanks everybody for listening. Peace.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Mario.
See ya.
But do you have a real job?